First thing you should remember is that we call this place Bucha, not Bucha, not Bucha. It's Bucha. It's a small town located just 10-15 minutes away from Hostomel airfield, where hundreds and thousands of Russian invaders met their horrible and well-deserved demise. Back then, exactly 1 year ago, the weather was a bit different. It was colder and it was raining, and together with foreign journalists we arrived here to this very location where the mass grave was discovered during the first days after the liberation of this place. Exactly 1 year ago, we discovered some strange footage using our satellites, and the locals that were meeting our troops liberating this area, they told us that we should check the pit where the Russians were burying the bodies of civilians, of local civilian people, and according to them this pit was located next to the church, and that's exactly what we saw. We noticed a big trench created next to this church, and the Russians were dumping civilian bodies into this trench. This is exactly the place where I made those first pictures 1 year ago, and this is the approximate place where this grave was found. That day the investigators were already assessing the area. They were already packing up the bodies and removing them from the grave. But still we found at least 14 bodies on the surface, and a lot of them were still under the ground. This mass grave has been found due to the satellite images that showed the progress of this mass grave appearing here. And with the help of satellites we were able to locate other mass graves, as well as the one found in the village of Matizhin. Visitors from other countries bring flowers here. There are some toys to honor the kids that were also found in this grave. Two things I will remember forever. First is, in the grave there was a small body. Okay, it was very small, and it was wrapped in a bed sheet, and I believe it belonged to a kid as old as maybe 4 or 5 years old. And another thing that I will remember forever is the smell, because it's something that you don't want to experience, believe me. What was the reason behind all those atrocities? There are two answers to this. First answer is that at the Vokzalna street here in Bucha, it's where Russians, where their Kadyrovite troops tried to break into Irpin and later into Kiev, they were ambushed, and they lost hundreds of their men instantly. This huge column that you saw on pictures many times, it's them. And they were so atrocious against civilians in order to retaliate on their losses, which is a very typical Russian approach. And the other answer is, I think you can ask about it Polish people, Finnish people, Estonians, Czechs, Slovaks, Chechens, Georgians, and they all will tell you that it's a typical Russian behavior. A small park not far from the church. Looks very cute, very beautiful in springtime, but it will look even more exciting in summertime. And this is exactly where I decided to have my ice cream in Bucha today, because today the number of Russian losses in Ukraine crossed the mark of 170,000 eliminated Russian terrorists. That's why I will have this ice cream today. And you know, I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I believe that little angels that will never have ice cream anymore, they will celebrate today together with me. Cheers and good memory.